You know the feeling. We've all been there, right? Trapped in a meeting that just drags on and goes absolutely nowhere. You're just sitting there thinking, this could have been an email. Well, today we're going to fix that. Let's dive into the essential playbook for turning those dreadful meetings into some seriously productive powerhouses.
Ah, yes, this question. It's the ghost that haunts our calendars. And you know, it's really the #1 sign of a broken meeting culture. But what if I told you there's a system, a way to make sure the answer to this question is always a confident no? Well, that is exactly what we are about to break down.
All right, so the very first play in our book, before you even think about sending that calendar invite, is deciding what kind of meeting you actually need. Seriously, this one choice is the foundation for everything that comes after. If you get this right, you are already halfway to a win.
Okay, this right here gets to the absolute heart of it. What is the goal? Are you trying to make a decision? Like choosing which new project to fund? That needs debate. It needs buy-in. Or are you just sharing information, like last quarter sales numbers? Because that could definitely be an email. Making this distinction first is the secret to not wasting everyone's time.
And this table is a great breakdown of how that goal shapes the whole meeting. If you're brainstorming, you need a loose, creative, open-ended vibe. But if you're problem-solving, you need data, you need focus, you need an analytical approach. A status update, that should be a quick, structured, round-robin style check-in, not a free-for-all. You gotta match the format to the goal. It's non-negotiable.
So, once you know why you're meeting, the next big piece of the puzzle is clarifying who is supposed to be doing what. A really great meeting isn't just one person talking. Nope. It's more like a well-run play where every single person knows their part.
First up, we've got the meeting leader. And let's be super clear about this. This is not about being the boss. It's about being the facilitator, the guide, the person who keeps the conversation moving in the right direction and focused on that objective we just talked about.
And being a leader is an incredibly active job. You can see it right here. They have to set a clear agenda beforehand. They have to manage the clock to respect everyone's time. And maybe most importantly, they facilitate the discussion to make sure every single voice gets heard before steering the whole group toward a clear, actionable conclusion.
Now, for everybody else in that room, you are not an audience. You are a participant. This is an active role, not a passive one where you just sit back and check your phone. The success of the meeting depends just as much on you as it does on the person leading it.
Yeah, as a participant, your job is just as vital. It means you prepare ahead of time. You listen, really listen, instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. You contribute things that move the conversation forward, and you help keep everyone on topic. You are a co-owner of that meeting's success.
And really, this quote just nails it. It's not one person's job, it's a team sport. When you have a leader who facilitates and participants who are truly engaged, you create this incredible energy that makes the whole thing worthwhile.
Okay, so you've had a great meeting. Awesome. But what happens next? This is where the real magic happens, my friends. This is where you turn all that great talk into actual, tangible action. It's the part that's so often overlooked, but it is the absolutely essential administrative playbook.
You know, a successful meeting really starts way before anyone walks into the room. First, you schedule and confirm with the right people. Then, you send out a clear agenda so they can actually show up prepared. After that, you get all the materials organized, and finally, you book and set up the room. This prep work is what makes a smooth meeting even possible.
And then, after the meeting's over, the follow-through is what makes it all count. This means drafting and sending out minutes quickly. It means clearly documenting who is doing what by when. You got to send out any follow-up materials, and then you track those tasks until they're done. Without this, even the best discussion is just, well, it's just talk.
So how does all this change when you go from a tiny 5-person meeting to, say, a 1,000-person conference? You might think it's a completely different animal, but here's the thing. The core principles from our playbook don't just apply, they become even more critical.
Look at that. When you're dealing with this level of scale, hundreds, maybe thousands of people, the potential for total chaos just skyrockets. But the solution isn't a different playbook. It's just applying the same one with way more discipline.
See, it all comes right back to the fundamentals. You still need an incredibly clear goal for the conference. You need to find roles for everyone, from the keynote speakers to the event staff. And you need meticulous, down-to-the-minute planning. These principles are universal. It doesn't matter if it's 5 people or 5,000.
And this is a perfect example of how those core duties just expand. Booking a room becomes venue sourcing and logistics. Sending an agenda turns into speaker coordination. And following up with action items becomes post-conference communication. It's the exact same logic, just on a much, much grander scale.
So, when you're thinking about putting in all this effort, remember what you're getting in return. You aren't just having a better meeting. You're making an investment in clarity that saves you from a dozen back-and-forth emails and 100 hours of confusion down the line. So, the next time a meeting invite lands on your calendar, or maybe you're the one about to send it, I want you to think about this playbook. Whether you're leading it or just participating, what's the one change, the one thing you'll do differently to make it a true investment of everyone's time?